And go. Good day, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Bread and Buttered Kitchen. And today we are doing the tart episode. A tart could be in French a pie or any shape of a tart. In fact, I've brought out some of my favorite tart pans here for you to see, so that you know that there's all kinds of shapes and sizes and fabulous ideas to make a tart, and that's why I love making it, because there's no limitation. Okay, so I have here, and you can see some of these tart pans here. I have a really tiny one, a tartlet, the diminutive form of the little tart, and then it goes up in sizes and up in sizes. Now I have here, all of my tart pans have a removable bottom. So as you can see here, the removable bottom. Why do we have a removable bottom? Because when you bake the tart, because the outside of the crust is so delicate, you just simply lift it up and place it here, and then this becomes the serving tray in itself. So when you have guests over and you have a party, you just simply pop it out of the oven and take it right out and place it on a cute little plate. And why wouldn't you? Okay, so I also have this fabulous, this is my second favorite tart pan. This is a little square, just an 8-inch square pan. Same thing, removable bottom. This one happens to be nonstick. I don't recommend a nonstick. I happened to purchase this one, and it actually is, it works great. But because the tart crust is composed primarily of butter, it's basically self-stick on its own right. So there's that, and then my number one favorite tart pan is my fabulous, this 12-inch very long rectangular tart pan, and it is just, you can do all kinds of things with vegetables and fruits, and at a party it's really is the crowd pleaser. And then now before we assemble a tart, you must create the tart dough or pie crust dough. Pâte brisée in French is the classic pie crust. And so we have different rolling pins here. I have this kind of French sort of tapered rolling pin here, so it's a little bit wider in the center and kind of tapers out to the edge. This actually allows for more leverage, so as your hands are rolling on the outside, you actually get more weight on the center of the crust. And then of course I have here this giant monster, which is just one solid cylinder of wood, and there's kinds that have handles, that have ball bearings in them, so you can roll it back and forth. There's marble rolling pins. Anyway, a tart dough is composed of a few simple ingredients, and it is flour, butter, and a little bit of water or liquid, and then just a touch of salt or sugar. That's a variation. And the general ratio of a pâte brisée is 3 to 2 to 1, right? So it's 3 parts of the dry ingredient, which is flour, 2 parts butter, and then 1 part liquid or water. So I have taken the liberty to create a tart dough already. And there are several ways to create a tart dough. You can make it in a food processor, which I have done for many years, and you can make it by hand, which I also have done. And there's actually this cute little. What did I do with it? No, Connie, we're missing it. So there's you can use a fork, and we'll do the demonstration later. So that my tart dough has been refrigerated overnight is ideal. Why do we refrigerate it overnight? Because it allows the flour, which is a dry ingredient, to absorb all the moisture from the butter. And when you think of a tart or a pie crust, you think of a flaky crust. And so everything must be chilled. In fact, I just pulled this out from the refrigerator. So we'll get working right away, all right? Okay, so let's take our pans away, and then I will show you exactly how I roll out a tart pan. A tart dough, excuse me. Okay, so I always have a little bowl of flour right here, and in this little bowl of flour, I keep it right next to my work surface here. Now I have a very clean, large wood cutting board, and I know some people, when they roll out pastries, use a marble board, which helps to retain the temperature. And really, when you're working with pie crust, you want to make sure everything is very chilled from the moment you make it to the moment you roll it out. And in fact, when I roll it out and your hands are pressing on this, creating some heat, and you want to place that rolled pastry back in the refrigerator or freezer before you pop it in the oven. And that's going to give it the texture that you want. Okay? So let's go ahead here and place our dough on. You can almost see very closely that there's actually some butter speckled into the dough. And you really want that. It doesn't mean that it's improperly mixed. It means that actually that butter is going to separate in between the layers of flour and water. And then when you place it in the oven to heat, that expands, and then that's what creates the flakiness. All right, so that's what you want. That's the secret. Okay, so let's start by just lightly just grabbing the flour with your fingers. And this is great. This is something you want to do with you can do this with kids. Kids love rolling out pastry dough. Really, they honestly do. And you just kind of spread just a real light layer of flour, which helps to prevent the sticking. And then now you'll notice when you work with pâte brisée or tart dough that it tends to have a. Oh, I just realized something. My mic